If you want to trigger someone's true emotions, tell them what they can and cannot eat. Because food is a trigger for all of us. It's not just something we do to satisfy our appetite, it's a reflection of who we are. Our culture, our personality, our preferences, and even our politics. So, if someone dictates what you should or should not eat, chances are you will lash out. And that's exactly what has happened. That's what students at Delhi's Hansraj College are doing. They organized a protest near campus. Let's put those pictures of the protest, in fact. After college authorities refused to serve non-vegetarian food. They sat outside the campus gate, shouted slogans, and called out college authorities. Eventually, armed policemen arrived to disperse these students. Some of them were dragged away into the police vans, as you can see on your screens in just a bit. But before things descended into chaos, we did manage to speak to some students there. Listen into what they had to say.
प्रोटेस्ट परमिशन लेके यहाँ पे आए हैं। यहाँ पे आने के पर भी 5 मिनट होने के बाद ऐसे अरेस्ट करने लगे। ऐसे वायलेंटली परमिशन लेने के बाद भी हमें अरेस्ट करें। ये कैसी गुंडागर्दी है? इससे पता चलता है कि पुलिस हर हेवी के साथ है। Inside, there have been communal slogans being chanted. We are here demanding canteen food. We are demanding food for all, inclusion for all, our basic rights. Nothing is happening to these schools inside. We are being dragged. We are being dragged here. We are students of Hans Raj. The gates are closed on our faces, and these schools live inside. ये प्रशासन की गोद में बैठकर काम करते हैं। इनमें इतनी हिम्मत है ये सामने आकर बात कर सके।
Now, this whole controversy dates back to February when the college reopened after the lockdowns. Since then, the hostel and canteens are only serving vegetarian food. Students say that wasn't the case before. They say both veg and non-veg food had been served before February. So what changed? The Hans Raj principal is saying the college follows Arya Samaji philosophy, so only vegetarian food will be served to students. She also pointed to other institutions like the Christian-run St. Stephen's College and the Sikh-run Khalsa College. She says nobody is telling these colleges how to function, then why tell Hans Raj how to function? Now, coming back to Hans Raj, the authorities are firm on not giving in to these demands. They are saying, no non-veg please, we are Arya Samajis. According to them, according to college authorities, 90% of students at Hans Raj are vegetarians. If you, as the SFI, ask the SFI about this claim, they are disagreeing. Their internal polls, they say, has found that 75% of students actually eat non-vegetarian food. Now, whatever the number, it's not about how many students eat or don't eat non-vegetarian food. It's all about someone's personal choice. And a personal choice, just by the way, that the Constitution guarantees. And the Supreme Court has affirmed over and over again. So even if one student wants to eat non-vegetarian food, they must have the right to do so. It's as simple as that. Plus, the Arya Samaj argument really doesn't add up. I'll tell you why. If the college was so focused on the principles of Arya Samaj, why did they serve non-vegetarian food before February 2022? Did the authorities suddenly discover Arya Samaj's teachings during the lockdown? In the past, such feuds over food have led to violence on campus. And you'll remember some of these instances I'm going to talk about. First, let me tell you what happened in JNU last year. The hostel served chicken on one Sunday, and they've done this for years. But that Sunday was Ram Navami, which led to a scuffle between two student groups in which at least 6 students were injured. All of this raises questions about food policing in our country. The whole idea that non-vegetarianism is alien to Indian culture. And somehow it's about ethics and morality. The truth is, that's not the case. Even Indian epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata have references to non-vegetarian food. It was part of ritual worship in many temples across the country. In fact, more Indians eat non-vegetarian food than they eat vegetarian food. This is a survey by the government of India. We are not making this up. We are not cooking this up. Around 75% of the Indian population follows a non-vegetarian diet. Only 25% are vegetarians. So the idea that India is a vegetarian country is a myth. We very much love our egg and chicken and meat. And it's not just about choices. In many states, non-vegetarian food is important to plug the nutrition gap. Meat and eggs are a cheap form of proteins compared to some vegetarian alternatives, which is why there are some parts of the midday meal schemes in certain states which essentially have meat and egg. Amongst them are BJP-ruled Karnataka as well. So there are two arguments about why India should not be banning non-vegetarian food. One is obviously the right to choice, the right to choose what you eat. And it's a right that has been guaranteed to you by the constitution of this country. And the second, of course, is the practicality of sourcing cheap and rich sources of protein, which are so essential to our health. Samaa is a Hansraj College student, third-year student, was part of the protest today, is joining us on the broadcast as well. Mr. K. Choudhury is a political analyst with us on the broadcast, and Mithun Vijay Kumar is a political analyst. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Mithun Vijay Kumar, I'm going to start with you. Do you agree with what the Hansraj College is doing? Suddenly deciding one day, waking up one day and saying, now we are vegetarians, we will not serve any non-vegetarian food on campus. What sort of dadagiri is this?
I don't think it's Dadagiri, Shreyaji, because post-pandemic, several institutions took a decision of stopping non-veg in the campus because of various reasons. There were difficulties in procuring meat because of, shops were being closed during that period. Second, preparing, serving, storing non-veg is much difficult compared to preparing vegetarian meals. And meat products generally have a short shelf life. So these were the primary issues because of which, non-veg was stopped temporarily in many institutions. And I just saw your coverage from the campus, and I believe SFI is protesting over the food rights of students in Hansraj College. And like you said, choice of food is a constitutional right. So fine, they can protest. Now, food rights, I believe, is not confined to a specific category of, food items like chicken or beef. We need to ensure diversity in dining as well, right? Again, if I borrow your words, even if one student wants to eat pork, will the colleges across India serve pork? We have, we have Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and people with different cultural backgrounds studying at the college. And a good percentage of people, I believe, would love to eat pork as well. So to meet their demands, will SFI be holding protests inside Hansraj College for serving pork, or outside Jamia Millia for serving pork because their canteen doesn't serve pork, is what I believe. So, like you said in your opening remark, food is a trigger. Food is a trigger for food or clothes. These are trigger points, and SFI or the left-leaning organizations have a capability, have a clear agenda of identifying these trigger points and sparking controversies. Now, I'll expose the the hypocrisy of SFI. If SFI is so concerned about cultural hegemony in food, they should have protested over serving vegetarian food at Kerala School Kalotsavam, organized by the CPM government as well, right? So there they were completely silent. The Congress was accusing left government of Brahminical hegemony, even in school cultural festival, and they were attacking the culinary expert. But it was the choice of the left government in Kerala to serve vegetarian food. Now, if we are talking about diversity in dining, that shouldn't be confined to Hansraj College itself. It should be spread across India. SFI should protest over various issues where they have been mute spectators.
Okay. So, I'll take the point that you make. And I hope you're not reducing this to a Hindu-Muslim debate, but since you're, since you brought up the point,
there are certain
organizations
that...
Okay. You said, dekho, you said, Mithun Vijay Kumar, you did say that in Jamia Millia Islamia, will the SFI go and say that, even if one student wants to eat pork should be allowed? You're making a valid point. You're making a valid point, and I'm going to put that point to... Okay, you're making a valid point, and I'm going to ask that question to Samaa. Samaa, your college, Hansraj College, is saying we follow the philosophy of Brahmakumaris, which is very clearly vegetarian, and so we have decided we are going to stop serving non-vegetarian food. Okay. Now, I understand that the Constitution gives you the right to eat what you want to eat. No one can stop you from doing that. But if we are so mindful of sensitivities of Muslims and pork, then why not Arya Samajis and non-vegetarian food?
So, ma'am, What I would say to that, I mean, if I am to respond to what Sir has said initially, this whole idea about why SFI is not protesting for beef to be served or pork to be served. Now, these particular meats are, say, offensive to a certain communities. They feel, you know, they in terms of their religion, they feel that they don't want to be surrounded by those particular things. So that is fine. We support it. We're not going to Hansraj and saying that serve beef, or going to Jamia Millia Samia serve pork. But the thing is that in Hansraj College, pre-COVID, eggs were served. So what it happened in Hansraj was that eggs were served in the canteen, and there was one chicken dish, just one chicken dish that used to be served, I think, twice a week. So that was all the non-vegetarian food that was given to students. Hansraj is, I agree with all that you said initially, but we have to remember that Hansraj is a public institution. Hansraj comes under Delhi University. So calling itself a public institution, saying that they invite and accommodate students from all regions, from all communities, from all backgrounds, they cannot impose vegetarianism on us. If the principal is coming and saying that 90% of our college is vegetarian, we went and we met her and we asked her, where did you get this survey from? And she was not responding to us. So this whole idea, and to bring this down to a sort of whataboutery, that, oh, this is happening, why is an SFI protesting on that? Or that is happening, why is an SFI protesting on that? Let us talk about the issue that is at hand. Right. SFI is not taking up issues on their own whims and fancies. It is the students who are coming together and approaching progressive students' unions because they are suffering and they want to mobilize and agitate against a particular thing. That is why organizations like SFI take up these particular issues.
You know, for the longest time, Hansraj College, just by the way, has been ranked in the top 10 colleges of India in all three disciplines. And I'm just trying to look if Hansraj College anywhere calls itself an Arya Samaji college. It doesn't. The type of college it is, it's a public college. Mithun Vijay Kumar, therefore, if you're a public college, if you're part of the Delhi University, if you have been serving non-veg food all these years, and when was it instituted? It was instituted some 75 years ago. For 75 years, Hansraj College has not had a problem with non-vegetarian food. And suddenly one day they wake up and say, hum to vegetarian ban gaye, now no non-veg will be served on campus. Any logic? There is no logic.
The Delhi University as well, and the university statement was that it was only because of the COVID issue. After COVID, they stopped serving non-veg, and that continued. And that practice continued.
COVID issue to bakwas issue hai. No, COVID is over.
COVID is over.
COVID is over. COVID is over. The fact is,
we are seeing reports every day on COVID, and you can't say COVID is over.
Colleges are open, schools are open. Our government has said that you don't need to wear masks on flights, etc. So COVID is long gone. Ab COVID ka bahana nahi chalega. COVID is long gone. And the storage thing doesn't count. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now. All of us are consuming meat and...
No, we need to understand whether the college has the capability to serve meat. We need to understand. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes,
you're
okay.
audible.
So I was saying
audible.
we need to understand. We need to understand whether the college has the capability to serve non-veg in their canteens as well, which includes staffing, storing. Why not storing? Storing is a big issue when it comes to serving meat. So all this has to be looked upon, not just the Arya Samaj point of view. And the SFI spokesperson, I heard her saying that, you know, we are sensitive to a particular community.
Because that is not what the principal is saying. Mr. Choudhury, that is not what the principal is saying. The principal is very clearly saying, we follow the Arya Samaji philosophy, which is why non-vegetarian food will not be served. You know, food has become a political tool in this country. And this food policing is happening despite the fact that the Supreme Court of India has told everyone who is willing to listen that in this country you cannot tell people what to eat or what not to eat. The Constitution gives you the right to eat and what not to eat.
See, the choice of food served, is it a question to me?
Please, just a minute.
Okay. Yeah, no, that question was for Mr. Choudhury.
Okay. Yeah, Shreya, let me call a spade tonight, you know. This blatantly, if I put it, or in very simple terms, if I put it, this is saffronization of the Indian education system. There's a definite toolkit in operation on how to influence the young minds at work, how to project them as the future of the country, when on one way you are saying that this is because of we are adhering to an Arya Samaj philosophy or XYZ and all these things. But then you see, Shreya, let me bring another point. In the midday meals scheme, we used to have eggs and chicken to the students that was given out there. You know, the UNICEF's report, India stands number one. Around more than 5 million children below the age of 5 are severely wasted as per UNICEF's logic. And what does that severely wasting means? Overlooked child survival emergency. And India stands at number one in the world in terms of malnutrition. Now, why did the government remove these eggs and chicken from the diet of the children of, let's say, the primary schools? The logic and the position paper that was drafted and sent out by the government reads like this. Let me quote it. The government in its position paper justified this policy, saying that for the small body frame of Indians, any extra energy provided through cholesterol by regular consumption of eggs and meat will lead to lifestyle disorders. Now, Shreya, I can't, before coming to your debate, as I was going through this article, I could not find a logic to debunk this hypocrisy of the government. On the one hand, India is at number one on malnutrition. On the other hand, you bring in your culture imposition on others. You try to impose 25% of vegans in this country, and you want to say that you will have to eat what we want you to eat. This is not the case. You have the hypocrisy. While BJP ruled states in the northeast, they are serving beef, mutton, chicken, everything on the midday meal. But whereas on Uttar Pradesh, the Yogi Pradesh,
absolutely,
you can't have this hypocrisy.
Karnataka has started it. There was some controversy, but Karnataka had to start it. Karnataka has started serving egg in their midday meals because there is a nutrition gap that has to be filled. I'm going to give Samaa the last word. Samaa, I have 20 seconds, but I want you to talk to your college principal through this broadcast and tell her what you want to tell her, since you weren't allowed to go inside the college gates today and say what you wanted to say to her.
Actually, after our friends were detained, we had to sort of barge into campus today, and we had a chance to have a word with Dr. Rama. And all she kept talking about was that we follow Vedic philosophy and we're an Arya Samaji college, and that she's gone to hostelers. I mean, this has been in private, but when she's spoken to them, she said that till I breathe my last breath, there will be no non-vegetarian food served on this campus. What I want to tell her is that I think she often forgets, especially that happened when a Gaushala was opened on campus the last time, and we protested against that as well, when the land that had been allotted was for a girls' hostel. We want to remind her that Hans Raj that has been built, it's been built by taxpayers' money. It has been built for students. It is a public institution. It is not something, she has not paid money out of her pocket. It is not her tiny little project to do whatever she wants to do and impose whatever she wants to do and mold our minds like clay and impose whatever indoctrination and propaganda that she wants to. We are a public institution, and the kids of Hans Raj are very upset with this. There are people who are vegetarian. There are people who do not even like meat, but they have come to us and they've said that no, if the majority of Hansraj College wants to consume meat, there are people who have left the boys' hostel because of the meat deficit and the protein deficit diet that was there. So what I want to tell her is that if you're so convinced on running Hansraj as this, private little project, then she should not call it a public institution, and it should not come under Delhi University, because if it's a public college, it must serve the public. It must work for the public.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Fact is, ladies and gentlemen, that Indian food is not homogeneous. The fact is, it depends on region, it depends on religion, it depends on caste, and very importantly, it depends on class as well. So stop imposing anything, vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism, on anyone. Our constitution gives us the right to eat whatever we want to eat. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for watching. News and updates, of course, continue right here.